Every animal on Earth eats raw food. Every single one. Birds, bears, dolphins, wolves, chimps, they all eat exactly what nature gives them. But then there's us. We boil, roast, fry, ferment, bake, and smoke almost everything we eat. And we have been doing it for at least 1,000,000 years. So the question isn't just why do we cook? The question is, how did one single species on this entire planet look at a raw piece of meat and decide to set it on fire first? Because the answer to that question isn't really about food at all. It's about why your brain is so big, why you have such a small gut, why you live so much longer than a chimp, and why, without fire, you and I probably wouldn't exist. Here's something most people don't realize. Eating raw food is incredibly hard work. Not hard like I don't feel like it, hard like it will consume most of your waking life. Wild chimps eat up to 6 hours a day, not because they're slow eaters, because raw plant fiber and unprocessed meat are extremely tough to break down. Their jaws are enormous. Their gut is massive, proportionally much larger than ours. And they still spend the majority of daylight hours just chewing. Now think about what your day looks like. You probably spend maybe 35 minutes eating. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Done. How is that possible? Because cooking pre-digests your food for you. Heat breaks down the cell walls in plants. It unravels proteins in meat. It softens and loosens the molecular structure of food before it even touches your stomach. Your gut gets a head start that no raw eating animal ever gets. Harvard biologist Richard Wrangham has been making this argument for decades. He calls it the cooking hypothesis. And it says that cooking didn't just change what we eat, it changed what we are. Here's where it gets wild. Your brain is the most expensive organ in your body. Right now, just sitting and watching this video, your brain is consuming about 20% of all your calories. For an organ that makes up about 2% of your body weight, that is an extraordinary energy demand. Now ask yourself, how did early humans afford that? Raw food simply doesn't give you enough usable energy fast enough to power a brain this size. Studies show cooked food delivers significantly more usable calories than the same food eaten raw, because your body doesn't have to burn as much energy just breaking it down. When our ancestors started cooking, even crudely, even just tossing meat near a fire, they got more energy from the same amount of food. That surplus energy had to go somewhere. It went to the brain. Over hundreds of thousands of years, bigger brains got selected for, and bigger brains let humans do something no other animal could: plan, communicate, build tools, form complex social groups, and yes, cook even better food. It's a feedback loop. Cooking-powered brains, bigger brains made better cooking powered even bigger brains. But we don't have to take the theory on faith. Your own body is evidence. Compared to every other great ape, humans have tiny teeth. Seriously, our molars are small. We have no need for the grinding power chimps rely on daily. We have a small gut. Our intestines are compact. We cannot ferment and extract nutrition from raw plant matter the way other primates can. A gorilla can eat a pile of raw leaves and walk away fueled. You would not. We have a short colon. The colon is where a lot of raw food digestion happens in other species. Ours is reduced because we don't need it as much. And we have weak jaw muscles. The muscle that runs over the top of your skull in chimps is massive in them and small in us. Our heads are even shaped differently because we don't need that jaw anchor. Every one of these physical changes points toward the same conclusion. The human body has been shaped over a very long time to eat cooked food. We didn't adapt to cooking. We adapted because of cooking. So when did this all begin? The honest answer is we don't know exactly. And scientists argue about it. The most cautious estimate puts controlled fire use at around 300,000 to 400,000 years ago. That's based on clear hearth sites, places where there's charred bone, ash, and burned tools clustered together in ways that scream campfire. But Wrangham and others argue the real shift happened much earlier, around 1.8 million years ago. That's when we see Homo erectus appear in the fossil record. And Homo erectus is strange. They have smaller teeth than their predecessors, a smaller gut, a bigger brain. They look physically like they were already eating cooked food. The problem is finding clear fire evidence that old. Fire sites degrade, ash scatters, wood burns away. So the debate continues. What we do know, somewhere between 400,000 and 1.8 million years ago, fire became a human habit, and that habit reshaped our species completely. Here's the question that stops people cold. Why only us? Other animals encounter fire. Lightning starts wildfires every year. Animals flee, yes, but some also come back afterward. Raptors, certain hawks and falcons in Australia, have been observed carrying burning sticks to spread fires and flush out prey. That's sophisticated. That's close to tool use. And yet none of them ever made the leap to cooking. The reason seems to be a cluster of things that only came together in humans. First, patience and planning. Cooking requires delayed gratification. You are hungry now, but you wait. You prep, you apply heat, you wait more. Most animals operate on much shorter reward cycles. Second, fire control. Starting and maintaining fire isn't instinct, it's a learned, socially transmitted skill. You need a group that passes knowledge across generations. That requires language, memory, and culture. Third, Third, the social kitchen. Cooking almost certainly changed how humans live together. When you cook a meal, you create a shared resource. You have to trust the people around the fire. Anthropologists believe cooking may have been central to the development of pair bonding, division of labor, and early human social structure. The hearth wasn't just a stove. It was the first table. Understanding all of this matters more today than people realize. The raw food movement has grown in recent years, with people claiming that raw diets are more natural and healthier, and some raw foods are genuinely nutritious. There are real benefits to eating certain vegetables uncooked, but the idea that raw eating is our natural state, the biology doesn't support it. Researchers who have studied long-term raw foodists find that many of them, particularly women, eventually stop menstruating. Their bodies don't have enough energy surplus. They lose body weight beyond what's healthy. Even with modern variety, blenders and juicers doing some of the mechanical work that fire used to do, sustaining a human body on purely raw food is difficult. Our bodies were not built for a raw diet. They were built on cooking. That doesn't mean you need to deep fry everything, but it does mean that the stove or the fire pit before it is not a luxury or an indulgence. It is part of what makes you human. So next time you're standing in the kitchen, waiting for water to boil or watching something sizzle in a pan, you're not just making dinner, you're doing something that no other species has ever done. Something your ancestors figured out over 1 million years ago that rewired your body, expanded your brain, and made civilization possible. Cooking didn't follow human intelligence. In many ways, it created it.